I built this end-to-end automation which finds the latest AI news every single day and turns them into engaging YouTube shorts. It writes the script, uses my own AI clone to film the video, then it adds engaging captions to it and automatically posts it across all of my social media. The best part, you only have to set this up once and then it runs completely on autopilot, helping you get thousands of views on social media and growing your personal brand with no extra effort required from you. And in this video I'm going to show you exactly how you can build this automation step by step, so by the end you can have the same system up and running in your own workspace. So let's get started. Now before we move on, I want to point out one mistake that almost all beginners make, which is not turning the workflows active. And most of the times that happens because they are in the limited end-to-end plan, which allows them to only have 5 active workflows. But thankfully there's a super simple solution for that, which is HostDigger VPS hosting. So all you have to do is to click the link in the description, which is going to bring you over to this page where you will be able to see all the plans that HostDigger VPS is offering. And I would personally suggest you to use the KVM2 plan because in my opinion it's the best one out of all. So all you have to do is to come over here and click on choose plan, and this is going to add it to your cart, where you can select the period that you want the plan for. And if you select the 24-month plan, you will only end up paying $167 for 24 months of hosting all of your automations, which is completely ridiculous and an amazing deal. Plus, if you come over here and click on coupon code, you can come over here and type software gent and click on apply, and this is going to give you an extra 10% off. And then all you have to do is simply come over here and select the server that is closest to you. Since I live in Greece, I will personally select France. Then all you have to do is to come over here and make sure you select NA10. And then come over here and click on continue. And you simply come over here, you fill in your billing address and your credit card information. And once you do that, you will be brought over in this interface, which as you can see, I already have my VPS up and running. But if I wanted to create a new one, all I would have to do is to come over here and click on get new VPS plan, and then I will select KMV VPS. Then I simply select the location. I will leave this on Germany this time. I'll click on next. Then over here you need to select the OS that you want. Make sure you come over here and you search for NA10 and simply click on it and click on select. Then create a password for your VPS so you're able to log into it. I will do that right now. And then I will come over here and click on next. Then you simply select whether you want daily auto backups or malware scanner, which is completely free. I will leave this on malware scanner for now, and then I will click on next. And then you will simply have to set up a brand new owner account. So come over here and do that. And this is going to open up your brand new N10 account where you can start building your automations, and they will all be hosted over in HostDigger's VPS. And the best part is that you can host hundreds of your automations that way and not have to pay the ridiculously expensive N10 plan. So in my opinion, this is a complete no-brainer, guys, and basically all of you should come and sign up over to HostDigger so you can host all of your automations in the cheapest possible price on the market. And again, make sure you use code SoftwareGent to get an extra 10% off your yearly and 2-year plan. So the first thing that we have to do is to go over to N10 and create a brand new workflow, as I did right now, and then we need to add in our trigger. To do that, we simply need to come over here and click on add first step, and then we're going to come over here and search for a scheduled trigger node. And the reason we're using a scheduled trigger node and not any other trigger is because we want to make this run every single day at the same exact time. That's why we're using the scheduled trigger node. And how we're going to be able to configure this is we're going to come over here, make sure days between triggers is on 1, and then we can set the specific hour that we want it to run. Let's say for example we want it to run at 7 AM in the morning, and then we can also set the trigger minute. I will leave it on 0 so it runs at exactly 7 AM in the morning. So now we have successfully added our trigger, and after our trigger what we need to do is basically scrape the latest AI news so we can then take them and create the script for our video. So how we're gonna be able to do that is we're going to come over here on the plus icon and search for an HTTP request. And the reason we're using an HTTP request, guys, is because we're going to use a third-party API in order for us to get all the latest news, simply because there doesn't exist a node within N10 that allows us to do that. And the third-party API we're going to use is called News API, which is a completely free API which allows us to get all the latest news. Now the first thing you need to do is go over to newsapi.org. I will leave a link for it in the description below, and then you will need to create your account. And once you created your account, as you can see I have created mine over here, what you need to do is to come over here and navigate over to the documentation. And this will open up this interface over here. Now the only thing you need to do is to come over here to the Get Started section and make sure you click on Searching for News Articles. And then over here to the right, you will be able to see the CURL, which is a very short snippet of code that we will need to copy and paste inside N8N. So all you have to do is to simply come over here and copy the small snippet of code, and then come back over to N8N and navigate over here to where you can see Import CURL. Simply click on it and then simply paste in the small snippet of code you just copied, and then click on Import. And boom, what this basically does, guys, is it populates most of the settings for us, so we don't have to manually go and add them in. As you can see, it added the URL, it also configured the method and a bunch of other parameters over here. But we still need to make some small changes, which we're going to do right now. The first change we need to make is over here in the query parameters. We basically need to say exactly what we're searching for. Since we're not searching for Apple, I will simply come over here and delete this, and I will type in AI news, because this is the type of news we want to talk about in our videos. Now, if you want to create videos about a different topic, all you have to do is to simply come over here and fill in the topic that you want to create your videos for. Then underneath that, we have another value which is called from, which is basically the specific date that's going to retrieve the relevant news from. And we want to set this to be only the current date, since we're going to be running this automation every day, so we don't want to get news from like 1 week ago, for example. So how we're gonna be able to do that is we're gonna turn this into an expression. I'm going to come over here and delete this date, and what I will type is this short snippet of code over here, which, if you're actually wondering, it basically tells N8N that it wants to retrieve information only in the current date. So you can pause the video and copy it if you want. And if you're wondering how I actually came up with it, I basically went over to ChatGPT, explained to it exactly what I wanted to do, and simply gave me this JSON. So I just copied it and came over and pasted it over here. And then on sort by, we will leave this on popularity. And then over here in our API key, what you need to do is fill in your API key. Now you simply need to delete this fake dummy API key that it has over here, and you need to access your own unique API key, which you can get by coming over to News API in the original dashboard, and then simply coming over here and clicking on Get API Key. This will open up this tab over here where you can clearly see your API key. So all you have to do is to simply come over here and copy it, and then come back over here and simply paste it in. So now if I come over here and I click on Execute Step, you can see that this successfully retrieved a bunch of articles about the latest AI news that happened today, which is again exactly what we wanted. So now that we have successfully managed to retrieve all of this data, what we need to do is to simply give it to an LLM model so it can actually generate us a script for a video based on all of this information over here. So how we're going to be able to do that is by coming and clicking off here, and then we're going to come and click on the plus icon and search for an LLM chain. And the reason I'm using an LLM chain, guys, and not a simple LLM model like OpenAI or Claude, for example, is because I want to use an output parser, and you will see why in a bit. First thing that we need to do is to come over here and change this from connect to chat trigger node to define below, and then let me turn this into an expression and open this up so you guys can take a better look at it. And now what we need to do over here is basically tell our AI model exactly what we wanted to do. So I will simply come over here and type, you're an expert video script writer. Your only job is to create a 15-second script for an AI clone to deliver in a short video for Instagram. Obviously, if you want to make your video longer, for example, if you want it 15 to 30 seconds, you simply come over here and type in 15 to 30 second script. Then I say based on this news, and now guys, what I will do is I will actually take in the array that I have in which all the articles and all the information we retrieved is inside, and simply drag and drop this over here. But as you can see, we have a problem because the AI model cannot actually see all the data that is inside here. It just sees a bunch of objects, simply because all this data is inside objects. So how we're going to be able to circumvent that is by coming over here and typing JSON.stringify, then we're going to come, delete the space over here, add in a bracket, and again we're going to come over here at the end of the word and add in another bracket. And now, as you can see, like magic, the AI model has access to all of this information over here. So you can actually pause the video and see exactly how I typed it over here. You can rewatch that part if you want as well. And then I basically say, don't use all of them, find the most engaging ones. Because again, we have a bunch of articles over here. We do not want all this information inside the 30-second short. We just want the most interesting ones. And then I give a bunch of more instructions. I say, when given a headline, create a script that is exactly 30 to 50 words, or we could also add in 80 since we increase the time as well. 15 to 30 seconds when spoken. It hooks the viewer in the first 3 to 6 words. This is super important because we do need a strong hook for our video. So when people first look at it, they don't immediately scroll away from it and they actually stay and watch the rest of the video. video. Then I say also delivers the headline, uses conversational direct language, ends with engagement, call to action, either to like, follow, etc. etc. And then I specify the output format. I say return only the script, no state directions, no explanations, no additional text. And then I also said add in a title for the video and a description for social media, because remember, we're going to upload this over to social media like TikTok, Instagram and YouTube. So we need a title that we can actually put in this video and also the description that we're going to put underneath this video. So I basically told it to give me these two things as well, and then I gave it some examples of input and what it should output me. And then I said some important rules: no stage directions like pause or smile, no introduction phrases, no explanation or reasoning, only output the final script and the title and the description for social media, keep it conversational and punchy, do not output quote marks. So that's basically all the instructions. Now if you want all these instructions along with the whole automation that we're going to build in this video, all you have to do is click the link in the description and come and join my school community, where you can simply navigate over to the classroom, come over here in the assets tab, simply find the video that you want to download the JSON from, and then over here at the bottom there will be a small file that is called JSON. All you have to do is to simply come over here and click on it, and then click on download, and then you can come over here and click on these three dots, click on import for file, and the whole automation is going to populate for you automatically, so you basically will not have to do anything yourself. Or you can simply just manually build it and screenshot this and tell ChatGPT to give you the text. So now let me actually close this off, and now what we need to do is to come over here and add in an AI model. So I will simply come over here and click on the plus icon, and then over here I will search for OpenAI chat model. Now you can obviously use any model that you want. I personally tend to use OpenAI. Now all you have to do is to come over here and select your credentials. Now if you do not have credentials, what you need to do is to come over here and click on create new credentials, and as you can see over here you need to input your API key. Now to find your API key, you need to go over to platform/OpenAI/API keys. I will leave a link for it in the description below, and then simply come over here and click on create new secret key, and you need to give it a name. I will name it, for example, video, and then I will come over here and I will click on create new secret key, and then boom, this is your API key. All you have to do is simply come over here and click on copy, and then come back over here and simply paste it inside the API key tab. And now that you did that, you simply have to come over here and click on save, and boom, as you can see, credentials were successfully created, which means that you will be able to come over here and select your API key. So make sure you do that. And then for the model, I will leave it on GPT 4.1 mini. You can obviously select whatever model you want. Alright, and now we will simply come and click off of here, and I will actually open this up again, because I want to come over here and actually toggle on the required specific output format, which what this does, guys, it basically enables this option over here, as you can see, the output parser, which I told you that I'm going to use. So I will simply come over here and click on the plus icon, and I will select structured output parser. And now this is the part where everyone loses their mind. Whoa, this is code, this is too hard, Damian. I don't actually know how to code, I cannot actually do this. Well, do not worry, guys, you will not have to write any code yourself. All you have to do is to simply come, close this off, open up ChatGPT, and basically tell it to write you the JSON code, so you don't have to go and write it yourself. And what I will specifically say is, write me JSON code that outputs a video script, a video title, and a video description, because if you remember, that is exactly what we have prompted our LLM to do. And then I said, and give me an example of an output in JSON. And the reason I said that is because we're going to use this example that is going to give us to copy and paste over in the output parser. And boom, it just finished doing that. So all I have to do right now is to simply come over here and copy this, and then I will come back over to N8N, open up the structured output parser, simply come over here, delete the previous one, and paste this one in. And now if I actually come over here and run this basic LLM and wait till it finished, which it just did right now, so you can see it did look inside the structured output parser. And if I actually open this up, we can see the title of the video, the description that we can input in all these platforms, plus the script that we're going to follow in this video, which you can see it over here in the text. So that is exactly the output that we wanted, and we managed to get it because we use an output parser. Because if we did not use it, what would actually happen is it would basically give us all of this text all in one schema, so we basically wouldn't be able to really use it if we didn't transform it even further. So that's why we used the output parser. And now let me actually come and pin this data, so do not have to rerun this if something goes wrong. And now what we need to do is to actually start creating our video. But in order for us to be able to create our video, we first need to create our AI clone. But now you might say, how am I gonna be able to create my AI clone? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to do that with a third-party service that is called HeyGen, which basically allows us to create our own AI clone. So the first thing you need to do is to go over to app.heygen.com, which I will leave a link in the description below, and simply create your a free account, but since I already have created mine, I will simply come over here and sign up. So once you create your account, you will be brought over in this interface where you need to choose your plan. You can obviously choose a paid plan if you want, but for the purpose of this video, I will simply choose the free one. And then you simply need to answer some onboarding questions. And once you do that, you will be brought over in this interface. Now, the first thing that we need to do is to actually create our own AI avatar, so then we can use it inside N10. So how we're gonna be able to do that is by coming over here in the avatars and simply clicking on the plus icon over here. And now you will have two options to either create your digital twin or your photo avatar. Now what you need to do is to come over here and select digital twin, which is the most realistic one. And then HeyGen will have this small video over here which basically explains you the entire process and basically gives you instructions of how you can film yourself talking for 1 or 2 minutes, so then they can take this clip of you and actually create your own digital clone. So that is exactly what you should do. Since I have already watched this video, I'll simply come over here, click on get started. Then over here they basically tell you again the instructions that you need to follow. I will click on next. Then over here you can record your video via the webcam, via your phone, or simply upload it if you have it in your PC. But remember, since we're creating a vertical video, you actually need to make sure you record your video from your phone and it is using the aspect ratio that YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels and TikToks use, and not the aspect ratio that YouTube is using. So that's a very important caveat. But since I have already recorded my video, I'll simply come over here and upload it over here. And boom, as you can see, I uploaded the video of myself talking over here. And again, make sure this is actually recorded from your phone in this aspect ratio, since we're creating shorts and not a long form YouTube video. That's actually super important. And then all you need to do is to simply come over here, click on next. Then this will prompt you to record the video, basically giving them permission to create your digital clone. So you will have to record another one very small video. So I will simply come over here, select record via phone, and then I will simply select record with phone. This will open up this QR code. I will simply take my phone over here and scan it. This is going to open up my phone where I basically will be able to give them consent, which I'm going to do right now, just so you guys can see. Hey, I allow HeyGen to use the footage of me to build a HeyGen avatar for use on the HeyGen platform. For safety purposes, this is passcode WVQW. And I will finish the recording right now. I will submit it, and now we should be good to go in a little bit when it is done submitting. And boom, my consent has been successfully uploaded. So now I can simply come and close this off over here, and I should be able to click on next. Over here I have the option to review my footage, and as you can see that this isn't like a professionally taken video. I just did it for the purposes of this tutorial, just to show you how this works. But now all I have to do is to simply come over here and click on submit. As you can see, my video is currently uploading, and boom, it just finished uploading, and it gives me this message over here which says that my avatar is currently being created. They will email me once it is done. This usually takes around 5 to 10 minutes, so I will be back with you once it is done. And boom guys, my AI avatar is ready. So let me actually open this up to take a look at it.
Hey Damianos Malyaros, your hyper-realistic avatar is ready. Try creating videos with it. Also, click the feedback button to share what you think. Hope you enjoy.
Wow, this actually does look pretty good, guys. I'm honestly amazed. Like, this looks exactly like me. Like, I could not tell that this isn't me saying this thing, which is very impressive. But now it's time we're actually taking this avatar and use it in our N10 automation. So to do that, I will simply have to come and click off of here. And then what I have to do is go over to Google and search for HeyGen API documentation. And then simply click on the first option over here, because inside the documentation it basically tells us exactly how we're gonna be able to use that API, so we can take this avatar and use it in our N10 automation. So now that we're brought over in this page, what we need to do is to come over here and navigate to API reference, and now we need to come over here to video generation and simply click on create avatar video, and this will open up a bunch of options over here, guys. But do not get intimidated, this is actually super simple to navigate. Now the first thing that we need to do is simply come over here to where we have the CURL command and simply copy all of it all the way down here, and then we need to come back over to N10, come over here, click on the plus icon, search for another HTTP request and simply click on it, because HeyGen does not have a native node inside N10, so the way we're gonna be able to access it is by using an HTTP request. And then all we have to do is to simply come over here, click on import CURL, paste in the snippet of code we just copied and click on import, and this populates almost all of the settings for us, so we basically have to do some very minor configurations. Now the first thing that we need to do is to authenticate ourselves over to HeyGen, and we're going to do that by using an API key. Now you might say, how am I gonna find my API key? Well, you actually have to come back over to HeyGen, then navigate over here to the bottom, simply click on it, then select settings, and then go all the way over here to the left to where you see subscriptions and API, and then come over here and click on HeyGen API, and over here you can see your API token. All you have to do is to simply come over here and copy it, and now we have two options. You can either come over here and simply paste it in this box over here, or in my opinion, the better option is to actually save it inside N10, so every time you actually need to reuse it, you don't have to go and find it again and input it over here. You simply have it saved inside N10. How you're gonna be able to do that is by coming over here, over to authentication, and changing this from none to generic credential type. Then over here you need to come and select header auth, and then you simply come over here and click on create new credential. Now over here in the name, you need to input the name that was inside the header parameters, which was x-api-key, and that is super important to type it exactly as it is over here, because if you don't, this is simply not going to work. Then over here in the value, you simply come and paste in the API key you just copied, and then we can also rename this so we know that this is from HeyGen. So I'll simply name it HeyGen, and then I will come over here and click on save, and boom, as you can see, credentials were successfully created. So now I can actually close this and simply have them selected from over here, which means that we do not actually need this header parameter, so we can simply delete it. And then we need to do the last configuration of this node, which is over here in the body content type, and as you can see, we have a bunch of JSON over here. So let me actually turn this into an expression and open this up so you guys can take a better look at it. Over here, we're basically telling HeyGen the exact characteristics we want our video to have. Now, because I want to specify more things than just these three parameters, I'll simply come over here, delete this, and write in this. Now, do not get intimidated by this. Do not say, oh, this is code, this is super technical. This is actually super simple to understand, and I will explain it to you right now. So first over here, we have this parameter that is called caption that I have actually turned as true because I do want captions in my video. Then over here, we have the width and the height of the video, and these are the parameters that I input over here. So the video is actually vertical and not horizontal, because the default ones are actually for horizontal video. Then over here, the video inputs, I have also type as avatar, scale as 1, avatar style as normal, and then over here we have the avatar ID, which what this is, guys, is a unique ID that's specific to the avatar that you just created, and it will be different for each one of you. So what you need to do is to not use this ID, which is my ID, and you need to actually use your own ID. So how you're gonna be able to find this ID is by coming back over to HeyGen and coming over here and clicking on avatars, where you will be able to see all the avatars you have created. Since I already have one, it's this one over here. So now I'll simply click on it, and this opens up this interface. Now all I have to do is to click on these three dots at the top right corner, and then come over here, click on copy avatar ID, and then I simply come back over here, delete the previous one, and paste my own unique avatar ID. And I need to do the exact same thing over here with my voice ID, because as you can see, it has a fake ID over here. What I need to do is to actually give it my real voice ID. So how I'm gonna find this ID is by coming back over to HeyGen, but this time I will navigate over here to the voices tab, where I can see all the voices that I have generated. So all I have to do is to again come over here in the top right corner, select on these three dots, and then simply come over here, click on get voice ID, which actually copies it in my clipboard, and then I simply come back over to N10, delete the previous one that was fake, and simply input my own unique voice ID. Then there is one more parameter that we need to configure, which is the input text, which what this basically is the script of our video. And as you can see, I have typed in fill in over here. So what I will do is I will simply delete this, and now what I will do is I will come over here to my basic LLM chain, where I have the exact script that I want my character to say, and simply take in that schema and drag and drop it over here. So now HeyGen also has access to the script that I want my character to say. So that's basically it. You can actually pause the video, screenshot the snippet of code, give it over to ChatGPT, and it will basically give you the exact text so you can copy paste it, or you can join the community and get all the assets there. The choice is yours. And if you're actually wondering how I came up with the snippet of code, I basically came over to the HeyGen docs. I simply scroll all the way down here to the bottom of the page to where you can see the response parameters, and I simply manually added in all the bad parameters that I wanted. Since I wanted the captions to be true, I simply came over here and added this as true, and as you can see, it changed this inside the body parameters over here. And I did the same with all of the others. You can come over here and add in the dimensions that you want. You can come over here and add in an avatar ID. You can come over here, add in any object that you might want. You might want the voice object, and as you can see, if I type something in, it basically adds it inside the snippet of code. So then you can just simply copy and paste it. So that's how I actually added all the things that I needed, but you don't actually have to do this, since I give you all the code that you actually need over here. So now I will simply come over here and close this off, and it's time we actually execute the step to send over a request to HeyGen to generate us this video. So I will simply come over here and I will click on execute step, and boom, you can see just finish executing, and over here we have our own unique video ID, which means that we have successfully sent over a request over to HeyGen to generate us the video with the parameters that we want. So now I'll simply come and pin this data, so do not have to rerun this. And now what we need to do is to actually get the video that HeyGen generated for us back into N10. But since HeyGen is going to take some time to to actually generate the video, we simply need to wait for a little bit. So how we're gonna do that? Well, very simple. We're going to use a wait node over here, which what the wait node does, guys, is basically exactly what its name says. It allows us to wait for a specific time and then move on with the rest of our automation. And for this example, I will actually put this around the 90-second mark, since that is how long videos like this usually tend to take. So I will simply put this on 90 and then I will simply come and click off of here. I will actually make this run so it is actually waiting, and then what I will do is I will come over here and add in another HTTP request, which what this HTTP request is going to be is basically us getting the video back inside our N10 interface, so then we can actually upload it in all of our social media. So how we're gonna be able to do that is by coming back over here to the docs, but this time we're not gonna be in the create avatar video, we're going to be in the retrieve video status details. So make sure you actually come and click over here, and this will open up this brand new tab. As you can see, again, we have a CURL over here, which is our best friend. So all we have to do is to simply come over here, we're going to copy this, and then we're going to come back over to N10, click on import CURL, simply paste in the snippet of code we just copied and click on import, and this will basically populate almost all the options for us automatically. Now we still do need to configure some things, which we're going to do right now. The first thing that we need to configure is obviously the authentication, meaning we need to tell HeyGen that we are the person that is using the service. But remember, we do not need to input our API key again over here because we have actually saved it. So all we have to do is to simply come, change this from none to generic credential type, come over here, change it over to header auth, and then I will simply come over here and select my HeyGen credentials over here. So we basically do not need this. Also the wait node finished, as you can see over here, and we have access to all the data. The only other thing we need to do is to simply come over here and open up the send query parameters, and we need to simply send in one parameter, which is going to be called video_ID. So make sure you actually type it exactly as it is over here. And the value, what we need to do is to simply come over here, taking the video ID from our initial HTTP request and simply drag and drop it over here, with which we're basically telling HeyGen, hey, this is the exact request that I want to retrieve back into N10. So now, if we actually come over here and execute the step, you're going to see that this did in fact successfully execute it, and as you can see over here, the status is called completed, which means that it finished generating, and over here we also have the video URL and the video URL with a caption. So let's actually come over here and copy this link and take a look at the video.
Google just unveiled the Pixel 10 with AI everywhere, like smarter photos and a health coach on the Pixel Watch 4. These new features learn your habits and make your phone and watch way more personal. AI is changing how you capture moments and track wellness. Ready to get smart with your tech? What's your top AI feature?
Oh wow, guys, like this really does look exactly like me. Like I definitely couldn't tell that this is not me. Now, if you want to remove this annoying HeyGen logo at the bottom, you actually do need to upgrade to a paid plan, but for simply testing it out, the free plan is going to be more than good enough for you. So now we have also successfully managed to get this video over to N10, but we also need to take into account that there is a possibility that after we waited for 90 seconds, the video will still not be fully ready, which means that when we actually send over this request, we wouldn't actually get in all this data over here along with the video URLs. And if that happens, we're not going to be able to move on with the rest of our automation. So how we can circumvent that is by coming over here and adding in an if node, which what an if node enables us to do, guys, is basically check whether the video has been generated or not. And how we're gonna be able to do that is by using this schema over here that is called status. So I will simply take in the schema and drag and drop it over here in value 1, and I will make sure I leave this on is equal to, then over here in the value, I will simply come over here and type in completed, exactly as it is typed over here, because if I actually capitalize this is not going to be the same and the function is not going to work properly. So make sure you type it in exactly as it is over here. So now if I actually come over here and execute the step, we can see that this is actually true. The video has been completed, which means that we can move on with the rest of our automation. But in the possibility that it was not completed, as you can see over here, we have this false branch, which what we're going to do with this false branch, guys, is we're basically going to come over here and add another wait node, and let's say this time we're going to wait for like 10 seconds, for example, and now we will simply come, take this wait node and bring it all the way over here to the HTTP request that we use to check if the video is done generating or not, which means that if this video is not done generating, it's going to come inside the if node is going to check, oh, is it done generating? It will say, oh no, it's not, then it will come over here in the wait node, it will wait for 10 more seconds, and then it will come and recheck again, and if in this time the video is done generating, it will come again over here in the if node, it will see, oh, it's done generating, and it will will come over in the true branch where we actually are able to move on with the rest of our automation. So that's why we add in this if function and this wait node over here. So now that we have the video, all we basically need to do is to simply upload it over to all of our social media. Now in the past, that would actually be a pretty hard task because we will need to add in a bunch of nodes, do a bunch of configuration, and it would honestly take us a lot of time and a lot of hassle. But I have found a third-party API that allows us to upload videos over to all of our social media completely for free. And that third-party API is actually called Upload Post. For some reason, I don't see anyone use this, but in my opinion, this is by far the best and the easiest one to set up. But before we actually use it, I do got to preface this. This is a community node, so in order for you to be able to see it inside N8N, what you first have to do is to come over here to the left, open up the settings tab, make sure you first save your workflow so you don't actually lose it, and then you can come over here and open up the admin panel, and then you need to navigate over to the manage tab and make sure when you scroll down here, the verified community nodes is actually turned on, because if this is not turned on, you're not going to be able to access that node. And then you simply need to come over here and click on save changes if it was not turned on, and N8N is going to restart for 1 or 2 minutes, and then you will be able to go back to your workflow and have this node ready for use. So let me again go back in our initial workflow, and now that I'm back over here, I can come click on the plus icon and search for upload post. And if this is your first time using it, you will see a button over here that says download. You simply click on it and it's going to download over to N8N, and then you will actually be able to use it. So now what we'll need to do is to simply come over here and select upload a video, since that is what we want to do, and this is going to open up all of these options. Now the first thing that you need to do is to obviously set up your credentials. Now if you do not have credentials, you simply need to come over here and click on create new credentials, and as you can see over here, you need to input your API key. Now to find your API key, you need to go over to uploadpost.com. I will leave a link for it in the description below as well, and then you simply need to sign up and create your free account. And once you do that, you will be brought over in this interface to where you can navigate all the way over here to the top to where it says API keys. Simply click on that, and then over here you will see your API key. All you have to do is to simply come over here and copy it, and then you can come back over to N8N, simply paste it in over here, and then click on save. As you can see, credentials were successfully created, so now you can simply come over here and select your credentials. But now you need to come back over to upload post and simply set up your accounts. So all you need to do is to come back over here in the homepage and simply do all of these 4 steps. You need to create your user profile. It's super simple, takes like 30 seconds. Connect your first social media account. So to do that, you simply need to come over here and click on go to manage users, and then over here in the bottom you will be able to see all the accounts that you can connect. As you can see, I have already connected my Instagram account. You can also connect your YouTube account, your Facebook, your X, your Pinterest, your Threads, etc, etc. The only thing that you cannot connect in the free plan is your TikTok account, for which you will actually need to upgrade to a paid plan in order for you to be able to connect it. But as you can see, the paid plan is actually only $18 per month, which is cheaper than alternatives like Brotato, and in my opinion it's also significantly easier to use. That's why I personally suggest you to use Upload Post. So then after you connect your accounts, I will do the same with mine, and then you can come back over to N8N and configure this node. Now the first thing that we need to do is to make sure this is on upload video, since that is what we actually want to do. Then over here in the user identifier, you need to input the profile name you just created, which you can actually find by coming back over to upload post, navigating over here to the profile, and over here you will be able to see your exact profile name. Make sure this matches exactly. Actually come over here and copy it, and then come over here and simply paste it in. Then over here the platforms, you basically can select all the platforms you want to upload this video. I want to upload this video on Instagram, on YouTube, and if you're also in the paid plan, you can also upload it over to TikTok. And then over here, these options open up where we basically need to input the title and basically the caption / description of our post. But if you remember, we have them ready over here in a basic LLM chain. So all we'll do is we will turn this into an expression, and I will actually come taking my title from inside the schema, simply drag and drop it over here, and I will do the exact same thing with the caption / description over here. Now over here we simply need to input the video URL, which if you actually remember, we have over here in a HTTP request. So I will simply take in the video URL with the captions and simply drag and drop it over here, and then we have a bunch of more options. As you can see over here, you can fill them in if you want, but you don't really have to, and you can also give specific descriptions and captions in Instagram and YouTube if you actually want to. I personally don't actually need to do that, so all I need to do right now is simply come over here and click on execute step, and boom, it just finished executing. And as you can see over here, it successfully managed to upload this video over to all of my selected platforms. And I can actually come over here, simply copy the Instagram URL which has the video it just uploaded, just so you guys can see it, and then I can come back over to Instagram, and then I can paste in the URL, and as you can see, we do have the video over here. So I think you guys can see how powerful an automation like this can be, because it allows you to create basically basically infinite content and build your own personal brand without you having to do all the research, the scripting, and the filming in front of the camera. And you basically are able to outsource all of this work over to the AI. So you can see how an automation like this would be super useful for basically any content creator out there. And you could actually sell it to them for thousands of dollars, since you could save them massive amounts of time of doing all the research, script writing, and filming themselves. And if you want to learn how you can sell automations like this to clients, you can click the link in the description and join my school community, where I have 4 courses teaching you 4 different ways to how you can do that. I have a full Upwork course, a full cold email course, and a course about building your personal brand on YouTube and on Instagram, and then leveraging your audience there to sell them your automations, which nobody else shows for some reason. Everyone tells you how to do Upwork and cold email, but they don't show you how to do the highest leverage methods, which are building an actual audience on platforms like YouTube and Instagram, because with this way, you're not the one that is chasing the clients are actually coming to you and asking you to build them automations. Plus, you can also charge significantly higher prices simply because you have a big following, which serves as massive social proof. Plus, you also get access to a brand new series that I just started, which is the Build a $1 Million SaaS, in which I document my whole process of building my own AI SaaS exclusively inside the community. So if you would be interested in all of these, along with getting access to all of the assets of every one of my videos, where I basically have all the JSON files for every automation I have built in this channel, so all you have to do is to simply come over here and click on the JSON file, then click on download, then come back over to N8N, click on these 3 dots on the top right corner and click on import from file, upload the file, and the whole automation is going to populate for you automatically, so you basically will not have to do anything. So if you would be interested in that, along with getting access to a community of almost 160 members that are interested in AI and most importantly making money with it, make sure you click the link in the description and you come and check out my school community, and I will be waiting for you inside. But also YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy this video in which I built a $1 million app using just Lovable and N8N. So make sure you go and watch that next, and I will see you over there.